Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you are brand new here, my name is FiddlinJonny and this is my Fiddle channel and magic product review. And before I do any magic product review, I always do a quick fiddle tune. So sit back and enjoy this one. Here we go. There we go. All right, I know you're really here for the magic product review. And today I am reviewing Vanishing Point by William Tyrell and released through Vanishing Inc. This is William's very first release, I believe, so kind of exciting that way. I purchased this not to do a review on the channel, but for my own personal use because I thought I could use it. And then I decided, let's go ahead and review it as well for the channel. So stick around and we'll get right into it. All right, let's get into Vanishing Point by William Tyrell or Will Tyrell. Kind of cool little packaging they've done here from Vanishing Inc. You can see it's not super big, but you get everything you need right out of this box. Okay, I'm gonna give you a ton, okay, maybe not a ton, but very precise thinking on this release as I purchased it for personal reasons to use in my own performances this summer, separate from thinking about like, oh, there's a product I'm going to review because it's a hot product and I want to let folks know about it. I really purchased it for me. I purchased it, I've used it, and I thought, oh, we may as well talk about it here on the channel. So let's start off with, what is it? Or what is the effect? So the effect is you come out with a stack of 10 cards. You could do it with 10 cards and they teach you that. But you come out with the basic handling is you come out with a stack of five cards. Five top cases. And you're able to essentially make them all disappear and then pull your cards out and start your routine. That's what the effect is. You vanish 5 decks of cards. Okay, so why did I purchase this? Let me talk about that before I get into what you get, just so you understand where I'm at. I initially saw this when the trailer promoting it came out. I saw it, I thought, wow, that looks really good. Not interested. Don't need it. Not my style. And then, you know, over the next several weeks, I saw people performing it on social media. I thought, oh, that really looks cool. Still not interested. And then as I was doing some evaluation of my own sort of stuff that I was doing this summer, during the summer months, I do a lot of street fairs. And sort of it's the style of magic, you know, you've got a lot of people who are there for, and let's say art, coming out to listen to art or music, and they're walking by. And so part of my job is like, how do I draw in attention initially so I can build a crowd? And oftentimes it's like, what's a quick piece of visual magic that people who don't seem to be interested, they can see really quickly from a distance, and it's clear and understandable. And I kept thinking, I need more of that. And then, you know, Vanishing Point kept coming back to mind. Is that like, well, that's a quick, simple, easy vanish that is understandable from a long distance of what just happened. So I was at Magic Live. William Tyrell was there at the Vanishing Inc booth and demoing it. Saw him perform it in person. I finally said, okay, I'm going to get it and I'm going to use it for some of my summer gigs. So that's why I decided to get it. And I've been out there ever since using it with gigs. And with mixed reactions, okay? So I'll talk about that a little bit later, but so we'll come back to that. All right, so let's talk about what are you gonna get? So in this, you're gonna open it up and immediately you're going to get the gimmick ready to go right out of the box, which I really like. Now you can customize your gimmick for it to be a blue mandolin back bicycle cards, or multicolored, like yellow, I forget all the colors that they have. Well, I can show you here, the different colors. Pink decks, green decks, yellow decks, basically multicolored decks. You're going to get the stickers, as I've just shown you, to be able to customize your gimmick. I just like it right out of the box, quite frankly, with the red bicycle mandolin back playing cards to do the routine. So you're going to get the gimmick, you're going to get the other things, the doodads that you need to be able to customize it if you want to make it different colored decks, and you're also going to get the instructions to build it yourself with any decks that you want to use. So if you don't use bicycle rider backs or whatever, mandolin back, you can create the gimmick. They'll teach you how to make it with, you can make it with 5 different boxes if you wanted to, tuck cases if you wanted to. All really cool things. So, but let's talk, on top of that, you're going to get a 14-page PDF that again sort of walks through the instructions and gives you more handling. I really like the PDF. I like the pictures. Great job there. You're going to get a video tutorial that's 21.5 minutes in length, done by Will Tyrrell, the creator of the Gimmick, doing the tutorial. And William does a great job on the tutorial, but you're going to get his tutorial in there. And then you're going to get an additional bonus routine that's done by Kyle Littleton. It's only 2 minutes in length, and it's called Decks to Dollars, and it's just like it sounds. You take the decks and you make them vanish, and now they are a wad of cash in essence. So that is what you're getting sent to you. And I should mention the tutorials are also downloadable, so you can put them in your own personal library. Let's talk about how the instructions are. I don't want to spend a lot of time because the instructions are just really good. Filmed beautifully. William Tyrell, this is what I'll say on a real positive note. For his very first release here, he's a really good teacher. He's great paced, great detailed, and understands how to give instructions, and he does a really nice job. It is the sort of gimmick, though, you could open it up, never watch the tutorial, and understand how it works and start performing it, quite frankly. But it's good to get all the stuff from the creator and the subtleties and all those sorts of stuff, in addition to if you want to make your own on that. You'll also get, in terms of not only the instructions for how to make it yourself, but the pattern that you'll need in order to do that, if that makes sense. Basically, you'll get everything that you need in terms of instruction-wise to do it. So it's filmed really well. He'll go over sort of what are the slides. There's a ditch that you'll need to do. You need to ditch the gimmick, and he'll walk over that as well. He also does some additional like stuff around like black art, and like there's a way to do this if you want to incorporate some black art into it, you could. He has a handling like that as well. All right, so let's talk about how is the gimmick itself. So the gimmick is in essence the same as any tuck case. So it is durable in the same way that any tuck case is as durable. It will depend on how much you handle your tuck case. Over time, it's going to wear down. It's okay, that's natural, it's just the way things are. But you do get the tutorial how to make your own if you want to when your gimmick wears out. I like the fact also with the gimmick is that you can customize it to however you want. It is a custom printed gimmick, through Bicycle, so it looks really good, looks normal, does not look fake. I would say, however, from a gimmick point of view, and this is, we'll go sort of in the negatives, you're looking at the gimmick now. I do say that there are some lighting conditions in that there is a crease here that if lighting conditions are not good, your spectator might see a crease, and which might not be great. But the reality is that when I'm pulling this out in real life and performing, I'm moving around anyway, so they're not going to notice the crease before I do essentially, my vanish. So, but something to keep in mind, and something I noticed, like, oh, that crease seems really visible. I think it's probably a little bit more magician worry than anything else, but was aware of it, so I thought I should share that with you. I think that's all I have to say in terms of like, when I talk about the gimmick, it's a good gimmick. I would say that there are some issues with, so with the gimmick, like my spectators on my right side here, I have no angle issues. If I had someone right behind me, they're not going to see because I'm holding it close enough to my chest. If I'm way out here and somebody's behind me, they're going to see what's happening. However, on my left side, these folks here can fully see the gimmick and expose and can see how it's done. Folks on my right side will not. So these are all sorts of things that you're going to want to control for your crowd when you are performing for them. So they're not deal breakers by any stretch, just things you need to understand. based upon what your performing conditions are. All right, let's talk a little bit now about the skill level. It is beginner skill level, but I would say, and you've heard me say this a lot lately, despite it's super beginner in that you open up the box and you can start performing it without watching the tutorial. But I found when I went out into the real world and started performing this, that with my 10 minutes of practice at home was not really enough. That I found the tutorial really spends time doing the vanish in the right hand and just using your right hand for the vanish. I found that I lost control a lot of the time just using my right hand and had better control with it in my left hand. So I've switched to doing the vanish in my left hand with a slightly modified handling once I sort of do the ditch with my right hand. Those are all things that are just going to require practice, and I think probably, in front of, not only in front of the mirror, but early on, practice in front of friends and family so you can get feedback and see what their reactions are like and managing sort of where your spectators are at. So beginner does require practice. I found it like the deck slipping out of my hand an awful lot at first as well. So those are sort of things that, like, as I'm managing the gimmick, I wouldn't expect my deck of cards to go flying, but it did on multiple occasions. And that just came from needing a little more practice. Not hard, not knuckle busting, it's just a subtlety that, like, you learn. It's like, oh, okay, I just need to have better control there. All right, so let's talk about what are the pros here. It's a super visual effect, ready to go right out of the box. It's easy to learn. It's colorful and it's easy to understand from a spectator point of view. There's no process. You have 5 decks of cards that are there, and then suddenly 4 of them have disappeared. And then you pull out one single stack of cards and ready to perform. I also would say that Will's a really good teacher on this, especially on his very first release. From a con point of view, it's a one-trick pony, and I don't think it pretends to be anything other than that. So you have to sort of decide, do you want this effect for the one trick that it does, okay? And I know I say that as a con, but I hope it's obvious. It's a gimmick that does one thing and does it well. Okay, it works as advertised. When I think about who's going to like this, now I do think, here's my humble opinion, I think it's best on social media, and that's my opinion. I think social media magicians will really like it because you can control for all your set of conditions and get the perfect vanish, and it will look really good. So I think it's great for social media magicians. I do think card magicians will like it if they want something that's really visual as an opener. They're going to like it. And I think anyone who likes visual effects and are attracted to strong visual effects will likely like it as well. In the United States, the cost is $29.95. It is a custom-made gimmick, which clearly takes time to make. And I think from a cost point of view, it's probably priced right. But ultimately, the price comes down to, are you going to use it or not? If you're going to use it, then the price makes sense. If you're going to use it once or twice, you don't waste your time. I think you really have to decide, does this fit you for the style of effect that you want to create as you're opening up and going into card tricks, quite frankly. So something I think you should consider. All right, that's it essentially. I think it's a good trick, great for social media. I've used it in the real world, and here's what, I don't think I mentioned this, my own real world experiences, mixed reactions. As I tried to get people's attention who are walking from a distance with a quick visual effect, some people were just like, yeah, big deal. Clearly maybe they're not interested in magic, maybe the effect didn't strike them all that much, so it didn't have the desired effect that I had hoped for. I did find that people who were really close, I liked a little bit of distance when performing it. I sort of felt like it gave me an ability to, like, that the gimmick would not be suspected that it's a gimmick. So, a couple of feet is really nice. I don't like them right on top of me. And I'm conscious of the lighting conditions so that the crease isn't noticed. So those are some of my real world experience with it. All right, I hope that's really helpful. I try to make these in terms of, always when I do these, bring them into the wild, actually perform them. So I can come back to you and tell you what that real world experience is. And my real world is experience, damn, that looks great on camera. In the real world, I found I had to work out the handling a little bit and get the practice time in it, which I should do with any trick anyway. or any effect, and that reactions were mixed. And sometimes I think that might be more of me and my performance rather than the spectator, but sometimes it was the spectator. So, all right, that's it. I hope that's helpful. I'm really glad you're here. If you could do this for me, if you could hit that like button, would really, really be appreciated. Leave a comment if you've purchased this and let me know what your thoughts are if you've purchased it and what your experience with it has been so far. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber on this channel. All right, thank you everyone for being here. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.